What up, YouTube? How y'all doing? We are back. Month 2 is in the books as now today, as I'm recording this, is November 2nd. A lot's happened since we've spoken last. Let me first off by saying there's some things that have changed and there's some things that haven't. As we last spoke, there were only two perfect teams, the Miami Dolphins and the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, since we've spoken, Miami has lost. They lost 3 straight due to the fact of their quarterback situation of Tua getting hurt versus the Bills and then re-hurt against Cincinnati on a short week. So that kind of cost them their perfect season. Unlike the Eagles, they are 7-0 and striving to stay perfect. So, apologize for the drink of water, but gotta keep the mouth loose and flowing. Everyone has a win in this league. I think everyone had a win by at least week 5, if I remember. There are 2 teams that don't have 2 wins, and that's the Texans and the Lions, 2 of the worst records in football, as you will see, as you saw by the thumbnail. In this league, we have 14 different records, compared to the last time where we only had 4. Again, we've now come from week 3 to week 8. That's 5 weeks of football. We have 7-0, 6-1, 6-2, 5-2, 5-3, 4-3, 4-4, 3-4, 3-5, 2-5, 2-6, 1-6, 1-5-1, and 3-4-1. The most common is 3-5 at 7, so that's half. That's not half. I was looking at 14. That's not half. But that is the biggest number, followed by 4-4 at 5 and 5-3 at 4. Everything else is 3 or less. As y'all keep up with the power rankings, we've had different changes, but you see the top kind of stays the same. We've had 3 different number 1s on the Stink Sports power rankings. As we all know, it did start as the Bills. Then it jumped to Miami, and now has been the Eagles, as they are perfect. Now, people may say, well, the Bills are a much better team statistically than the Eagles, but records do go into play. So the minute the Eagles lose, depending on who they lose to and how bad they lose to, there may be adjustment. It also depends, do the Bills lose again this season? As we're speaking about the differentials, Bills stay number 1. They have the best plus-minus differential of plus 105. Back in when we spoke last time, once I find it here, they're at 53. So they've jumped 52 points since we spoke. They're just taking care of the competition. I know they lost that 1, but that really hasn't hurt them because I think they only lost by 2. So, yeah. The second plus is the Eagles. As we spoke last time, the second plus was the Jags. You can see how much they've turned around. We'll speak about the Jags in just a moment here. Now we go to the negative part. The Steelers have the worst differential, plus-minus differential of negative 77. They did get blown out by the Eagles and the Bills, which have the 2 best plus differentials. They're just not in a state where I don't think anyone would have thought they were. I just believe they are 2-6 to my knowledge. Yes, they are. It's unfortunate, as long as I've known about football, the Steelers have at least had a 500 record, and now they're 4 games under 500, and we're in week 8, and there's still plenty of time. There's still 10 weeks to turn things around, and you're hoping they do, because I don't think I want to know. I know there's a time and point that everything comes to, well, New England, it's not the same New England anymore. We've seen that. They're still trying to figure it out. But, Steelers have been probably the most consistent team as long as I've been alive. And now they're on a downfall and going real quick, unfortunately. The second differential is the Lions at minus 52. And before that, it was the Jets. But now the Jets have gotten a lot better since we've spoken. And the first time, the biggest differential was negative 33. So, big differences as the season will continue to go on. Lions, they're beating the Lions, but they did play Seattle. They lost by 3, I believe. So they've been, I think they were the number 1 offense, but the last ranked defense. So been interesting as it is. So last segment we spoke about some surprise teams. We spoke about the Jags and Browns. Well, at the time, the Jags and Browns were both 2-1. The Jags have now, since we've spoken, have lost 5 straight. The Browns, on the other hand, are 3-5. They did win Monday Night Football, blowing out the Bengals. No defense on the Bengals, and the Browns are just running all of them. The disappointment teams from then, the Raiders, Cardinals, Chargers, Bengals, Titans. That's what we spoke last time. Raiders are 0-3. Cardinals, Chargers, Bengals, and Titans are all 1-2. Every one of those teams besides the Chargers last year were playoff teams. Bengals did go to the Super Bowl. Chargers, one of the clips are of a playoff team, so we leave them in there. Since then, the Raiders are 2-5, Cardinals are 3-5, Chargers are 4-3, Bengals are 4-4, and Titans are 5-2. So the team that's turned it around the most is Titans. They've won 4 since we last spoke. They did have their bye week, I believe, since they are 5-2. Bengals are still figuring it out, and Chargers have had some disappointing losses where they probably should have won. As I said, they lost to the Jags, lost to the Seahawks, both teams that were not supposed to be in contention just quite yet, but it's football. Now we look at where we're at week 8. Some surprise teams that I did not expect to be where they are now. Vikings are 6-1, Seahawks 5-3, Jets are 5-3, Giants are 6-2, and so are the Cowboys. I put the Cowboys on here only because they had a quarterback issue. They had Cooper Rush over Dak Prescott, but Cooper Rush came in here and did his job that he needed to do. So see them surprised at 6-2 when they probably shouldn't be. That's the surprise. Vikings 6-1. That division's just been one division that's been underperforming. And the Vikings have seemed taken care of it. They did beat the Packers, so they do have the upper hand there. I did not expect them to be leading the division at this point. I expect the Packers, but we'll speak about the Packers in a moment. Seahawks are 5-3. They essentially gave it all up, it seemed like. And Geno Smith is on a revenge tour. He's been the Chargers. He's been the Giants. He's got the Jets left, which will be at the end of the year. So they're 5-3. They leave their division as just as well. So that's a shock. Jets are 5-3. They're figuring it out, hopefully. We'll see how far that lasts. I know they just did lose this previous week to the Patriots, the struggling offensive Patriots, but just had some injuries. It's good to see Zach Wilson coming around and performing, giving the Jets hope. Do they make the playoffs? I don't think so. They're in that division of, with Miami and with the Bills. We all know Dolphins are 5-3, Bills are 6-1, they're 5-3, and the Patriots are 4-4. So those 3 teams are on the heels of each other, essentially. How it breaks down, we will see. Giants are 6-2. No one expected this. I know I've been getting hate for it, but no one expected the Giants to be 6-2. They didn't pick up, I believe, the 5th year for Daniel Jones, so they didn't have faith in him. But they do have healthy Saquon, which is really why they're winning games. Without him, I don't think they're 6-2. So, unfortunately, I believe they're 3rd in division just because the Eagles are 7-0, and they did lose to the Cowboys. So they're in a pickle of if they could still have a winning record but not make the playoffs. We will see. Now to the disappointments. Bucks, Packers, Broncos are all 3-5. Steelers are 2-6, and the Rams are 3-4. Super Bowl champs are 3-4. They've lost twice to the 49ers. They have not played well, as I believe they were looking for, as they were trying to get the Panthers, Brian Burns, giving up multiple first rounds. They're trying to find that Von Miller player that they had last year. So disappointing to see from the Rams, as they're not even leading the division, as we said before. Steelers 2-6. We spoke about them, how they're as I said, been most consistent team in football since as long as I've known, and now they're on downfall. And the Bucks, Packers, Broncos, where do we speak about them? You have Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Russell Wilson. None of them have performed where they should have. Tom Brady should have retired. You can't blame Aaron Rodgers much. He has no offense. And the Broncos paid a man, and he's underperformed. None of them lead their divisions, but they're still favored all, I believe, to make the playoffs by a small percentage. I think it's all under 5%. But the Falcons lead, the Vikings lead, and I believe the Chiefs lead that division. So, did I expect the Broncos to make the playoffs? Absolutely. Did I expect them to win the division? Probably not, because it's Patrick Mahomes. Packers and Bucks, I expect them to just kind of steamroll how they do, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's been a weird NFL season this so far, as we'll be going to week 9. So, we do have 6 teams for the week 9 bye. So power rankings will be, if you see some teams where they are, as I said, if your team's on a bye, they will not move because you don't play. You're not personally. I don't think you should move. So like if the Eagles are on a bye, they're number 1. They stayed at number 1. No one else was going to be perfect and take over the position. But yeah, next time we'll be at this will be after week 12. We'll be 3 months in. We could probably start talking about the playoff picture by that point. Kind of seeing how it is. But it's been an interesting one. The fact that the Falcons-Panthers game, Falcons were 3-4 and the Panthers were 2-5. Whoever won that game was leading the division. Well, of course, as we all know, Falcons won. They're 4-4. Panthers now 2-6. But Panthers still beat the Saints, still beat the Bucks. They play the Falcons again. Not this Thursday, next Thursday. Now we're going to speak about Thursday night. It's an interesting one because it's Eagles-Texans, and not football related, but football related. But Game 5 is Thursday. It was supposed to be an off day, but rain Monday pushed it back. So tonight's game, today is Wednesday, as I'm recording this. This is Game 4. Tomorrow is Game 5. It could be a very hectic night in Philly. Just to speak about that. The Phillies can probably win the World Series on Thursday. I was going to say be 8-0. That can't be. I expect the Phillies to win tonight. I expect them to win tomorrow. And I expect the series to go back to Houston. So Phillies would win Game 5. That would be Thursday. And the Eagles are 7-0 going to play the Texans, which I expect an absolute blowout. I expect, Jalen Hurts to maybe throw 2 touchdowns to A.J. Brown. Give one to Devontae Smith, rush 2 in. I expect it to be 42-17 by the end of the game. And if anyone wants to take that prediction, go right ahead, because last week 5 players scored 3 touchdowns. And the amount of bets I saw was absolutely insane. Now, again, you don't expect it. It can happen. You don't expect it. But for anyone to think it's going to happen, must know something. And that's what I would love to know one day. But as I'm saying, I think, I can't say that I'm wrong. But I believe the Philadelphia Eagles will go 8-0, and the Philadelphia Phillies will win the World Series. And Thursday in Philly, the city just may burn down. I don't think anyone's ready for that. So yeah, I know last time I was completely wrong when we spoke about it, because the last Thursday night game before I post this was Miami and Bengals. We all see how that turned out. Tua got knocked out, and that's why the Miami Dolphins are 5-3 and not any better. So, but it's as I said, been weird. We'll see how it goes. So Thursday night pick: Phillies and the Eagles to win. I know this it's not football related, but you know, it can all happen on Thursday night. And I tell you, things will be insane in Philly. So we will be back at the month 3 after I have it all written down here, after the week 12 game. So that will be right after Thanksgiving. Because week 12 no one has a bye. That is Thanksgiving week. Because I have written down in my little notebook where I do my power rankings. 13 no buys, so that means no buys were in week 12. So week 12 is Thanksgiving. So after Thanksgiving, so we'll get a nice little festive one as we go into the last month of the football season. You know, you're talking 12 weeks. Are the Phillies 12-0? Not Phillies. Why am I? This is the problem. Now I'm thinking Phillies. Are the Eagles 12-0? Who knows? I personally put a bet in that the Green Bay Packers would beat the Phillies. I'm not going to edit it. It's okay. We're in a roll. The Eagles would lose to the Green Bay Packers. But the Green Bay Packers have not been playing like the Green Bay Packers that we all know. So I may lose that bet, but, you know, it's okay. You win some, you lose some. But I said, handy-dandy notebook. I have all my information in. And, yeah, so we'll be back at month 3. So I hope you guys did enjoy. As I said, first video for first month a little shorter, as we only played 3 weeks. Now we're in 8 weeks, a little more to talk about. As we progress along further, we will have more and more to talk about as we will get into the playoff picture as well. So I hope you all did enjoy this video. Remember, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. And I'm going to keep rolling out this content for you guys. So next NFL video will be beginning of December. I'll catch you all then.